Okay, thanks everyone for dialing in our webinar this evening. So just sit tight and enjoy the session. We welcome you to key in any questions that you have in the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. Yeah. Okay. Very good evening to our audience today. Thank you very much for spending your evening with us here. My name is Justin and I'm your host for today's episode of Ask Me Anything webinar series. So let's find out what are the things that you must know when buying your first home. Okay, so as everyone knows, buying a home in Singapore is no doubt one of the most exciting events in our lives, but it can also be, very complicated and stressful, especially for first-timers. So are you hoping to buy your ideal first home? How much does your bank account really need to have? How much does our bank account need to have? What are the checklists that we need to take note of? Is this the right time to buy? So I'm sure everyone has burning questions. So I request that you plan your questions because our session must end in 1 hour, including the Q&A. And for the audience, we are actually live on Zoom and on Facebook tonight. And before I introduce my guest tonight, I must assure all of you here tonight that there shall be no selling during tonight's webinar as it is completely educational. And if you are watching, please feel free to share with your other friends whom you think would actually benefit from this fireside chat too as well. And where you and your friends can ask all the questions that you have about buying a home in Singapore live to our very own financial specialists tonight. Yeah. Okay. So, one thing to share with everyone today. So for our audience today, you are in for a treat as this is the first time we are doing this for our Ask Me Anything series. We'll be gifting 3 lucky winners a $20 Starbucks gift card. So here's how to win. All you have to do is like our Facebook Live video, which we will put in the link in the chat for you guys. And then share it to your page. Make sure that you share it to public. And then you will get the sharer badge if you do that. After that, just comment LNS on our Facebook Live video and tag 3 friends. So there are 3 winners to be selected tonight. So do take part. We will be doing the lucky spin at the end of the webinar. So do stay tuned until the end to find out if you have won the giveaway if you do take part. Yeah. Okay. So I'm very honored to introduce 3 of our financial specialists. So let's hear them. Let's hear from them what are the 5 things you must know when buying your first home. So joining us tonight, we have Ellain, Financial Services Director at Phillip Securities, Freeman, also Financial Services Manager, and Andy, Financial Services Manager as well. So let's hear it for them. Yeah, they will share with us what are the 5 things you must know when buying your first home tonight. Yeah. I'll just do a quick introduction for our speakers now. So ladies first, so let's start off with Ellain. So Ellain is a veteran in the financial services industry with over 19 years of experience and has bagged numerous awards. She currently leads a team of over 50 financial advisor reps. So hi Ellain, would you like to share something about yourself with the audience?
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Justin, for the introduction and good evening to everyone. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in and joining us here this evening. Just sharing some bit about my first home. So my first home was made together with my then boyfriend, who is now my husband. During our time, the wait for a new flat was about 5 years. In pursuit of the 5 C's, right, Singapore, I'm not sure you heard of, which are the car, credit, club. Ours was the cheapest club in town, the Temasek Club with no entrance fee, but a monthly membership about $20 per month. With some cash, our first home purchase was a 2-bedroom condo, 1,000 square feet unit. This completes our gathering of the 5 C's. However, unfortunately, we had to give out on our queue for a new HDB executive flat, given the long wait as well. What's even more unfortunate was that we bought our first home at the peak, most expensive time. Fortunately, we had a good tenant, a handsome Italian, just in case he also tuned in at this moment, who rented from us for more than 10 years, and this has allowed us to accumulate more cash. Yeah, thank you. Over back to you.
Thanks, Ellain. Yeah. Okay. Next, we have Freeman. So Freeman has 20 years of experience in the finance industry. So hi Freeman, could you maybe share with us a bit of something about yourself, with the audience? Oh, Freeman, you're muted. You have to unmute.
So my apologies, too nervous,
Yeah.
it's live. So likewise, like Elaine, I'm also leading a team of multi-license advisors. But I think what I really want to tell everybody is that I'm very fortunate to be able to participate in 2 rounds of BTO. Very fortunate because the fact that if there's a little bit of slight delay, I would have been deemed not qualified anymore. So after 6 years of waiting, I finally moved into my second home last year, December, seafront, 5-room, top floor HDB. So I'm enjoying my view here every day while working from home. Also, partly thanks to the BTO scheme, I am currently 100% debt free, right? I'm also a very hands-on person, so I do the renovation together with my contractors every day, like carry the cements, nailing the things. So learn a lot of tricks from them, and it's really interesting to see how the whole renovation process goes on. Yeah, so I encourage any one of you who has the time, and thanks to my job, is flexible. I have the time to enjoy the whole process. Back to you, Justin.
Okay, thank you, Freeman. So up next we have Andy. Last but not least, let's welcome Andy. Hi, Andy. Is there anything that you'd like to share about yourself with the audience?
Yeah, hi. I'm a financial services manager with Phillip Equities. So similar to Freeman and Ellain, right? I also lead a team of advisors. So I think one interesting thing that I can share with all the participants here is because I got a BTO and I sold it off and just bought my second property. So most of the things that I have are quite first-hand. That means like it's my own experience lah, and it's very recent. So I'll be willing to share all the house hunting experience that I have with all the participants here. Thank you.
Okay, all right, that's the introduction of my special guest tonight. So at this junction, let's get our audience started by doing a little poll. I will flash and read out the poll. Actually, the poll is on the slide already, you can really see, but I will flash it out. If you're on Facebook, you can comment in the chat box your answer. And if you're on Zoom, just simply click your answer. So wait, let me launch I'll launch the poll, and we shall wait 1 to 2 minutes to get to know a little about our audience today. Okay. Okay. So I've launched the poll. You can go in and select your answers. Do we have more? Can we some more? Yeah. We have quite a bit of you tonight. So right now it's only at 50%. Oh, we have 50% submitted already. Any more? Okay, I think that's it's quite obvious already. So everyone, the majority has selected HDB new, followed by HDB resale and condominium, and lastly followed by landed property. So yeah, let me just share the results if you can see. Okay, so this is the results for tonight. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's move on. So that's quite okay. I think that everyone is almost, I'm just like everyone, our majority of the audience tonight, I also would select HDB new. So before we begin the questions, right, this is an article that Andy shared with me. So Andy, would you like to share something about it with the about the article that you shared with me with the audience?
Okay, yeah. I actually chanced upon this because it's a very, very hot topic recently about HDB, right? Managing supplies and demands. So from what you can see here, this is the results of the, I would say it's the latest, yeah, the BTO results. And for first timers, for a chance for you to get a 3 or 4 rooms flat in, I would say 4-room flat in Kallang Whampoa is actually about 1 in 10 person. So the poll just now actually shows that a lot of people would think that BTO is a choice that that you want to be your first home to be, and that's very true. So if you are fortunate enough as a second timer to get a house, a 4-room in Kallang Whampoa, you have to be the lucky one among 150 people who applied. So the chances of getting a second home is difficult, and we will share with you like why do we think that HDB BTO is the ideal first home for people, because of financially, and also it's more affordable. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I think, okay. All right, with that, right, let's start off with the first question of the evening. So the first question, what are the checklists for new home buyers to take note of? It is no question that, you know, buying a home can be a very complicated process. So the first question for our speakers today, is there a checklist that can help us when buying a home for the first time to help keep us on track? Yeah, Elaine, you want to go first?
Yeah, okay. The checklist for new home buyers to take note of includes how much cash on hand. You know, one has to pay for the deposit of a house and the renovation that ensues. Do factor in payment of cash over valuation if you're buying the resale flat. As a ballpark, do set aside cash of around 30% of the purchase price for items such as a down payment and the cash over valuation. For example, a house that costs 600,000, one require cash on hand of about 80 grand. When buying a HDB BTO or resale flat, you have a choice between borrowing from the bank or from the HDB loan, taking out the HDB loan. For bank loan, down payment is higher at about 25%. 20% can be paid using CPF, while 5% be in cash. On the other hand, HDB loans require down payment of 15%, for example. 100% can be paid using CPF, albeit charging you at a high interest rate. Most would stretch the loan tenure for lower mortgage repayment, so as to match your money cash flows. It will be prudent to match it based on your one person's income rather than two for a couple, in case, right, the other partner is not working. If you are buying from HDB, applying for a BTO or balance unit, you will need to know the current application requirements such as the income ceiling, loan refinancing criteria. A good credit history shown in the credit bureau report helps with the loan application. So to have a good credit history, it means that to pay your card bill or other loans on time. Buying a new home is an important decision, and it's also a big ticket asset for most people. So do consider home with the potential of rising in value, just like Freeman, he chose the seafront where there's a demand, high in demand, enjoy his life there. Do consider house with the potential of rising in value from its good location, such as of centralized location with good amenities, near train station, shops, good school, and etc. Yeah, over to Freeman.
That's like a very long checklist, Elaine. But okay, for Freeman, let's hear about your checklist or your seafront. You know.
I think buying your first home is extremely exciting. You know, you finally get a space of your own. You don't have to look at your parents and whatever, you know. But I think there's a couple of points. First is like what you didn't mention, understand your financial capacity. No, you can the question is, can you still maintain the payment, assuming for some reason, like what Elaine said, one of you is unable to work or decide to stop work, example, to take care of your first child. So understanding your financial capacity, that's one. The second one is time frame. Of course, we all know that waiting for a new home can easily take up to 5 years. Mine took 6 years. So planning ahead is crucial. And with regards to spending, don't get too excited about your first home, because fortunately or unfortunately, right, in Singapore, we have a very easy access of credits like renovation loan, credit card installment plans. So it is very easy to overspend, right? So be conservative, get the basics necessity that you have, that you need, And you can always upgrade your items along the way as the time goes. And of course, to plan ahead, and usually the first home is not your last home, right? So, and we all know that if you use your CPF to pay, what happens is when you sell, all those money have to go back into your CPF, including accrue interest. So by planning ahead, what I mean is that for, let's say, take my case, for example, we decide to pay a small amount of money installment, mortgage installment with cash on the basis that over time, right, you accumulate, which means that when I sell my second house, the fact is I can take back much more cash, and this accumulated so-called extra cash that I get when I sell my house, I use it for the spending of my second house on the renovation and whatever items that we need to buy. So it's like not, yeah. So we didn't purposely save it, but it's more of accumulation over the years through the installment payment using cash. So plan ahead. If that's your plan, you want to move in a certain number of years, using some cash to pay your installment, if you can, might not be a bad idea actually. Yeah, Andy, anything you would like to share, to add?
Oh yeah, hi. Ellain and Freeman has shared a lot of things already. Yeah, so I would say that I agree with what Ellain and Freeman has said. Financial capacity is very important because we never know what's going to come out in future. But the thing is, we are very excited. We want to get the house. We want to spend a lot of money, so our loans will get more. And to be honest, if you're buying your first house, you're going from zero loan to be somebody with debt. So some people cannot, they are not very comfortable with it, which is why planning ahead is actually very important. So the checklist that Ellain have shared is all the numbers are very, very real. And then I think that, yeah, you really need to plan ahead because prices are getting very expensive.
Okay, thanks, Andy. I'm sure that when it comes to planning, in the whole planning ahead thing, right? One thing that goes under your plans would be the type of housing loan. So I think that now it's before we move on to the next question, let's do another poll. So same thing, I will flash and read out the poll. If you are on Zoom, please click in your answer. If you're on Facebook, you can comment in your chat. Yeah. Let's bring out the second poll. So. Okay, I have just launched the poll. You can put in your answers, our audience tonight. Okay, just a bit more. Okay, so the answers are here. I will share the results. So HDB loan, the highest, followed by bank fixed rate and bank floating rate lastly. Yeah. So okay. So for our speakers, which type of housing loan was in their plan? So let's find out with the next question. What should you look out for in the planning process? Buying a home is a big financial commitment, so it makes careful planning very crucial. And I often hear that the home that we buy people always tell me, the home that you buy next time should meet you and your family's needs now, and also not just now, but also in the future. So for other than the type of loan, or are there some factors that we should look out for in the planning process? Yeah, Andy, you want to take this question first?
Yeah, sure. Okay. What I would suggest buyers to do is to consider an area they are comfortable to live in first. Yeah, because the area that you grew up in and you're comfortable with the area, you will actually prefer the area. So choosing and of course depends on your work as well, because if you are working in the east and choosing a flat in the west actually will pose inconvenience to people, even though it can be the cheapest option. So finding for your first home isn't just about the finances lah. It's about making sure that you're comfortable living in it. Then you can plan the budget or you know what to expect. What to expect is the asking price. For example, if you're looking for a flat in Ang Mo Kio, Bishan, definitely the place is more expensive than Sengkang and Jurong, for example. So planning ahead is actually very important. Choosing your area first, then you know what to expect. Then you can streamline your search so that you will not be running around the whole Singapore. Yep.
Elaine, how about you? What do you look out for in the planning process, or rather, what do you think that you should have looked out for in the planning process earlier? Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, this is quite important to plan ahead. Family planning plays a part on the type of flat you are getting, the types, how many rooms, that includes room for the children, for the parents who are to stay with you. That will also mean applying for a bigger unit. But of course, bearing that in mind, it has to be one that is of like affordable to you, the flat. Cash flow management planning is also very important. After you have purchased your home, your monthly expenses, right? As they mentioned, I think Freeman and Andy mentioned, the monthly expenses will go up, right? Do ensure that you have positive cash flow every month, so that you're able to save for other important milestones, such as children's education fund, retirement fund, right? Most of the loans will require you to buy like a mortgage, fire insurance, so as a form of protection of your assets and liability. Yeah. Freeman?
Freeman, you're muted. Yeah.
Sorry. So sorry. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. I cannot agree anything less than what Andy and Elaine has mentioned. So like for me, being conservative in my initial budget is extremely important, because there are so many unforeseen expenses or expenses that you have never been responsible for. Things like bills, electric bills, because now weather very hot, you every day on the aircon. Last time you don't care, right? But now you are the one paying it. So other than all these financial related planning, right, I think also important that you really want to look at is spend time to explore on renovation part. You know, start early, explore what you want to do with your new home. I think it's a very fun process that you spend time with your spouse or spouse to be. Like things like, for example, the difference between engaging a contractor versus an ID, because I realized that, you know, their price difference can easily be 40 to 50% different. So, but the thing is, do you have the time if you engage contractor? And also there's so many materials out there that you can explore where the prices are so significantly different, like your kitchen top, your flooring, and of course, other things like your safety aspect, your long-term maintenance requirement. So, for example, I told you an example is I was being introduced to this soft closing kitchen drawer. I don't want to say the brand. So they are selling on the basis that this drawer that I'm going to install on my kitchen can hold up to 60 kilos. But to me, it's like, usually, let's say your first drawer, you put your spoon, chopsticks, all this, right? Why would I even need something that can hold 60 kg? And the price between this soft closing branded one that can hold 60 kg compared to a simple one is like between 100 plus and a $5 thing. So plan ahead, explore, take time to understand so that you will not be oversold, which ends up requiring you to pay significantly more than what you initially budgeted for your renovation. So yeah, take time, explore the process. It's fun, really.
Okay.
Back to you, Justin.
Yeah, okay, that's like a lot to look out for in the planning process, but thank you our speakers. I'll move on. So okay, so let's do one last poll. This is the third poll of the night. I will flash and read out the poll, same thing. If you please feel free to comment in your answers. Yeah, hold on. Okay, let's see what our audience think about, do they think the current property price will continue to trend up or not? Yeah. Oh, yes, it's like going so fast right now. Yeah. I'll wait a bit more longer. Okay. So yes is I'll share the results. Yes is the majority has selected yes, followed by no, and some of you put don't know. Well, I'm with some of you, I would also put don't know. So yeah, let's find out from our speakers. Hold on. Okay. So with the COVID-19 pandemic, still hanging around like a party guest that has outstayed its welcome, and borders now opening up as well. I guess we can say that property prices may be affected by all these multiple converging factors. So, what is the current market trend? Is there any room for upgrade? How does it look for 2022 going from here? Our speakers, you can tell us. Freeman, you want to go first? Yeah. Remember to unmute yourself, yeah?
Why do I always forget? Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, like, as what the post says, due to the historical trend, especially for past 2 years, property prices has spiked up quite significantly. I'm one of the person who has benefited from this spike because I sold my first BTO mid last year. So, but property prices have risen really fast these 2 years. Despite the recent cooling measures from government, prices are still heading up based on the last month's data. So, but what I want to highlight is very much more on the loans, because many young couples I have come across seems to prefer bank loans due to the lower rates. And when I ask them why, they tend to keep citing on the fact that, past 10 years history, the interest rate is low. So going forward, interest rate will be low. This is a concern to me because we know that in the financial lines, we know that globally rates are artificially kept low since the last global financial crisis in 2008, along with the QE system. In fact, due to the current high inflation caused by mainly COVID and of course the Ukraine war, it seems like the interest rate trend of rising interest rate has started and is probably going to be much more going forward. So if any one of you all have take note based on Straits Times 6 May article, right? There's an article on 6 May. In fact, there are some fixed rate 3-year bank loans that has already surpassed the HDB loan rate. So really planning ahead, understanding what you are facing, especially when it comes to interest rate environment, you must be willing to accept the volatility if you take a bank loan and watch the trend, because it can be quite detrimental. Don't take past 10 years as a guide. It's not that accurate because of the scenarios that is happening. Justin?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Ellain, would you share with us
Okay.
any insight? Yeah.
Yeah. Current market trend, right, is talking about two different segments. The current market trend is about integrated mixed developments, integrated with train, shops, and home and other convenient and lifestyles facility. Perhaps also a trend for a larger unit as one choose to work from home more often. As for the price trend, right, as reported in the news, Singapore private residential price growth has slowed in the first quarter this year due to the December's property property cooling measures that took effect, and also amid the rising interest rate, right? And also the fallout from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the stock market has seen larger correction recently. So with these factors, right, I think I suspect price may potentially be weaker in the coming months. So that's my sense of the view. I may be wrong. Yeah. Over to Andy. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got differing views from Ellain and Freeman. Yeah, for me myself, right, I would say that work from home seems to be a norm to some companies now. And of course, don't forgetting during the COVID lockdown period, kids have to study from home as well. So there's a trend that people are looking for bigger space, because now they realize that, you know, I can't go to office to work. I might have to work at home. I'm using my own laptop. My kid is using a device as well, and my wife is using a device as well. So previously we do not need to work together in a small house, but now we do. This is why we see that property prices are rising, HDB especially, because I feel that HDB have bigger space where people can use it as a workspace as well, double up as a workspace as well. So this is the reason why I feel that the current market trend actually went up. And of course, if HDB is going up, private properties will also have to sell higher, because usually people will feel that, you know, private properties are worth more than HDB. So people are not willing to sell it lower than the HDB rates. Yep. So I believe that the smaller units will stay stagnant, but the bigger units actually will go up in prices because people are looking for this kind of units. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That was very insightful. So okay, next question. Buying a property in Singapore, everyone always says this, right? Buying a property in Singapore will cost you your life savings or your retirement funds. So let's hear from our speakers, true or false? Yeah, who would like to go first? Yeah.
True for me. Yeah. It's a big
Ellain says true.
yeah, true for me, because it's especially if you're a first-time homeowner, right? So it's likely to be a big ticket asset. Yeah.
Freeman, and what do you think? True or false?
Yeah, well, but the property to most of us is the biggest asset and commitment, right? So we cannot emphasize enough on planning and budgeting. Buy within your means, you know. And of course, to me, because I buy, unlike Ellain, right, my first thing is a BTO, so it doesn't cost me everything. So, but then again, along the way, as your financial situation improve, right, and if the person choose to continue to keep upgrading to a more expensive, bigger property every couple of years, you keep upgrading and upgrading, this will constantly stretch your finances and very likely affect your capacity to save in the long run, save for your retirement. So I guess it's a matter of having a balance between the needs and wants. And in Singapore, we are very fortunate that our property prices generally has been going up for decades, non-stop. But that doesn't mean that there's never going to be a property crash in Singapore. So in fact, I have clients that have private property a couple of years back, and until date, the prices still remains more or less constant. So if you take into consideration and calculation of their interest that they have paid over the years, right, they're actually in a negative. So yeah, as long as you work within your budget, it's not going to kill you off, so to speak. Like I'm in my 40s, I'm debt free, so I still got at least 15-20 years to save for my retirement. 100% of money save for retirement. So no, I don't think it will cost your life. So life savings is a matter of planning as well. Andy, any further thing to add?
Yeah, I would say that in Singapore itself, most people will grow up wanting to own a property. Yeah, we are not like other countries that they can stay in rental flat. Most of us, we want to own a property. So I would say that this question actually for me is a yes and no question. because there are people who, when they downgrade their property and they stay in a fully paid property, they can retire comfortably with the additional profits that they earn. So of course, there are people who grown attached to their properties and will not sell it forever. So in this case, it will be better for them to plan ahead and save more for their retirement as they age. I would say that's the way it works.
Okay, all right. So next question. I'm sure many property owners and investors and other market participants use some of them I've heard use past trends and historical data, to get clues and insight on how the property market may react in the present situation. So is it possible to actually find the right time to buy, or is now the right time to buy? Any of you would like to go first? Andy, you want to share first?
Yeah, probably I can share first. I would say that
Okay.
If you need a home to stay, because you family planning, you are getting married, and you want to have your house of your own, then the first condition is to buy a property that you like. So it's a basic needs that everybody needs, a roof over the head. In this case, there's no need to time the market, because you can't be possibly waiting for the property market to crash before you consider getting married and giving birth. Yeah, that would be too much of a planning already. So I would say that for your first house, we really cannot time the market. Yeah, we should buy if we need it. Yeah, it's a need more than a want.
Yeah, totally agree with Andy, right? I mean, if you're talking about capital gains, everyone will know it's a very simple theory, right? Simple rule, you buy low, sell high. So the best time to buy is anything, property, whatever, is of course at a recession. But like what Andy says, really, if it's your first home, do you really want to wait for 5, 10, 20, 30 years for the property to crash before you buy and get married? I don't think that's reasonable. So especially if it's your first home, right? I don't think you should think too much. Just buy what you like, start your family, and start your future planning as it goes along. So there will always be opportunity out there. So be patient.
Totally
Ellain?
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree with Freeman and Andy. Being the first home, every day is the right time to buy. So setting our family, is most precious. So there's no need to wait too long. I just want to highlight that prices of house in Singapore has continued to trend higher, right? But luckily, the rise in price has slowed recently, as reported in the news, right? With rising interest rate, as the central banks are trying to control the runaway inflation, with cooling measures in place, as well as the global stock market falling, market sentiment overall has been more bearish with recession fear. That may mean a possible weakening of the property prices, especially for people who are doing resale or who are buying resale flat, right? Because you cannot wait, you start a family, right? So every day is the right time, right? So I will, it's really hard to time, but if you're aware that imminent headwinds, right, on the way, I think it pays a little to wait and be patient. Maybe you can get a bargain price, but maybe don't wait too long because you're going to start your family. Yeah. Over to you, Justin. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ellain. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree with all of them. That there's no right time to buy. You need a roof on your head. You just need to, get the house. Yeah. So okay. Before we move on to the Q&A section, I just want to welcome all of you in our audience to connect with Phillip or with any one of our financial specialists tonight. All of them have something in common, but no, actually they have one thing in common. They are active in social media and are always very generous in sharing and broadcasting value-added financial tips to their customers and their followers. So they are also growing their team and definitely welcome like-minded individuals to join them. So yeah, if I will just leave it 1-2 seconds. Do scan the QR code if you would like to reach out to any of our financial specialists tonight, Ellain, Freeman, and Andy. Yeah. Okay. Okay, for those who are enjoying the webinar, like our Ask Me Anything webinar like this one, and would like to stay connected with us to receive more updates, you just have to give us a like on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/PhillipWealthAdvisory. Yeah, so please do so. And then okay. Now let's get on with the Q&A section. So I bet a lot of you have a lot of questions. We have some questions already. Do feel free to put in your questions in the Q&A function. We'll get our speakers to answer them. Yeah. Okay, we have one question from Godfrey. What is your take on capital appreciation in the future? Any of our speakers would like to take this question?
Hi, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go
Ellain,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead, Ellain, please.
You go
Ladies
ahead.
first.
Go ahead.
Hi, Godfrey, thanks for your question. But let's see, capital appreciation in the future, I think in terms of property prices, to me, is very much dependent on the overall economy of the country. So far, so good. I'm still pretty confident of where Singapore is heading as compared to the rest. Especially according to the pool, if let's say your first home is going to be a BTO, government has put in this BTO scheme, which almost certainly help the person to buy low and sell high, right? So in fact, I have never heard anyone who lost money by buying BTO and selling later. So take advantage of it. There's 2 rounds for Singaporeans to take care of it. But in general, to Godfrey, I'm pretty confident that the property market in Singapore is still going to be stable, still going to be on a constant uptrend. But however, like what Ellain said, probably on a slower pace basis as compared to last 2 years. Right. Hope that answers your question, Godfrey. Ellain, anything you want to add?
Yeah, you said what I want to say. Yeah, Godfrey, I think I've been a very small nation, with population with, the government is doing a very good job. I mean, in the sense that, finding ways to rejuvenate the economy. We are the financial hubs, and we are going to digitalization, things like that. We attract a lot of talents in that sense. Yeah, and I think Singapore, being a small country, limited land space, I think in the long term wise, I think it should still capital appreciation are likely to be there as long as it's well managed. The country is pretty well managed. Yeah, so I mean, if it's your first home, BTO, I think why not? I mean, with so much subsidies, given out to you, I think it's sure win, right? I don't know, in my opinion, like, firsthand. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ellain. We have a question from Eric. Will investing in property be a better alternative compared to equities or stocks? Yeah, I know this question. Thanks, Eric, for the question.
Yeah, maybe I can answer that question.
Okay, Andy, thanks. Yeah.
Yes. I would say that investing in property is a different asset class altogether compared to stocks and shares, which Phillip Securities is known for. The reason is because property is not actually very liquid. So we can get rental yield. You can get rental yield. Of course, it comes with their own sets of problems like finding tenants and such. So they are actually, I would say they actually work side by side, and it depends on the person's portfolio. For example, if you are owning 10 properties and no equities, no stocks, your money every time you have to sell your property to, realize your gains. So of course, with all the government cooling measures coming in, that actually affects how if a person is just investing in properties. So it's better to diversify some of your monies to other channels as well.
Okay, thank you, Andy. We have another question. We have a question for Ellain. How does one save up for the cash deposits? Yeah.
Okay. So you can look at the top line, earn more, look for multiple sources of income. That means either you invest in yourself, work hard, get promotion, get more pay, or look for alternative sources of income, or you can invest. But having a saving goals, keep track of your cash flows, that will help. Regular savings, that will help in building up the pool of money for your down payment. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Ellain. We have another question from David. Will the influx of China, Hong Kong, and Indonesia reach into Singapore affect the property price and rental value? Yeah. And do you want to take this question?
Yeah, I think I can answer this question.
Okay.
During the lockout period, we'll find that everybody, the Malaysians, JB, those people who came over Singapore and work, right? They actually have to stay in Singapore because we can't travel. They can't travel back to JB, so the rental market actually went crazy. That's how some of the property agents told me. The property market actually went crazy. Rental markets, there are too many people, too little rooms to rent out. So I would say that because after we open our borders, there will be some fluctuations. The rental might come down a bit, the property price might come down a bit, but also it attracts other people who want to come in here and buy our property. So if the price is going to be, I would say the property price will definitely go up as long as we are, because we are in demand, I would say. So rental value as well.
Yeah, I think maybe I would like to add a little bit from Andy's comment to David's question is that, as I mentioned, our country are so far so good, running very well. And in fact, depending on how you want to see it, right? If there are constant foreigners coming into Singapore and buying Singapore property, that is a good sign, right? And so if imagine one day and it seems that all the foreigners disappear from Singapore, our property prices will really crash left, right, center. So again, as for the property price and rental value, it really depends on which kind of person you are. For example, you are going to buy a property, of course, you don't like it, right? Because the prices keep going up as you keep looking. But if you already have a property out for rent, then if the rental value keep rising, you are the one that's laughing all the way to the bank. And of course, then again, your question specifically seems to target rich foreigners. So depending on which spectrum you are fighting with. So the good thing is these rich foreigners cannot touch HDB, right? So of course, but if you are one of those rich ones that's targeting like a good class bungalow or in some orchard properties, then yeah, it's going to be quite painful. So it really depends on which spectrum of Fed and which side of fence you are really sitting on. But to me, in general, having foreigners being interested in buying our property here is a good thing in the long run. And I'm glad that it's happening constantly now, because once they stop, as I mentioned, all of us is going to get hit very badly, because property is generally one of our biggest assets. Hope that's answered your question.
Okay, thank you, Freeman. We have an anonymous question. Hi, I'm a conservative person and I'm worried that I cannot service the monthly repayment. How much should I set aside as rainy day fund or mortgages? Yeah. And do you want to take this question?
Okay. Yeah, I would say that if you are a conservative person, to keep you can set aside about 12 to 18 months of your liquid cash in your saving account. That would be actually a very decent amount to keep you secure, because we do not know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. Furnitures might spoil. You might go jobless for about 6 months. Things can happen. But if you have a 12 months to 18 months of liquid cash, in your saving account. That's actually a good guideline where you can keep your mortgages payment ready in the event that there's some challenges that you face during in this period of time. Yep.
Okay. We have another, Godfrey asked us another question. With implementation of ABSD on private property, would second property be very risky? Ellain, you want to take this question?
Well, I that is a measure, is a kind of like to control the runaway prices of the property. So actually it's very good for the first time owner so that there is less competition. Yeah, so I guess for the well-off, the wealthy, I think they don't mind paying, I guess. But for first-time homeowner, yeah, I think yeah, it helps with the for those who want to buy, resale, or yeah, with these measures. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, we have another question from Anonymous. Can we buy resale first and BTO after? Waiting time is too long. Any other speakers want to answer this? I think any speaker can answer this question.
Maybe I'll take this one since I
Okay,
participated in 2BTO, right? Yes, you can, because the government or HDB did not restrict who can or cannot buy the BTO at any point in time. Even if you're a private property owner, you still can apply for BTO. Of course, there are limitations or there are guidelines whereby you need to sell before you collect your key, that kind of thing. So no harm getting the first resale first. If you have the capacity and wait along the way for your ideal BTO to come along. I have waited and following all the new launches for like almost 10 years before I finally see this Seaview BTO. So patience is one thing. So yeah, you can buy your resale and aim for a BTO later, but there are limitations that you have to sell. But of course, then you want to consider the fact is that generally speaking, our income tends to increase over time. So the question is now, if you buy a resale and let's say 4 or 5 years down the road, will your income be still within that limitation that allows you to apply for BTO, right? If you, let's say you're earning 10 grand and your spouse is earning 10 grand, total 20 grand, then you're automatically disqualified, right? So you don't have a choice from there on anymore. So yeah, watching your budget, be patient, and of course your earning capacity, as long as it's within that restriction, yes, you can do that, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Oh, okay, Freeman, there's a question for you specifically. How much? Hi, Freeman. How much how much can I expect to spend on renovation? Is there anything to watch out for after getting second BTO?
Yeah. Okay, how much to expect spending on renovation? It really depends on how you really want to spend it. As I said, first home, you might be overly excited. You want all the best items that you can ever find. Let's say a well-branded 60-inch TV will set you back like 7 grand versus another less known TV that costs you 1.5K. So generally speaking, renovation, depending on the material that you choose, can easily range around 30 to 50K. On a safer side, it's about 30 to 50K. Of course, you can save a lot. Example, you can control your expenses by limiting the amount and the number of built-in cabinets, because from my experience is that one of the most expensive part is actually carpentry work. So for example, instead of doing a built-in wardrobe, you can actually buy a wardrobe from IKEA that costs you less than $200. But if you do a built-in cabinet, it can easily cost you $1,000 depending on your material use, right? And yeah, so I think at least set aside 30,000 to 50,000 is a fair gauge. As for what to watch out for your second BTO, yeah, I learned it the pretty hard way. First thing is when you get your second BTO and you sell your first one, right, there's actually a levy of 40K, right? 40K levy. It doesn't matter if you're upgrading. Like my first one was 4-room, my second was 5-room, and I'm still being levied for 40K. Fair enough. And the second thing that I didn't really know until it happens is that actually when you sell your first BTO, right, half of your cash profit that you acquire during your sale of first BTO must go to your second BTO to pay down the loan, half of your cash profit. So be mindful of that, because half of it is actually pretty painful. Like I buy my HDB at 160,000, I sell at 500, which means that my cash profit in theory is 360,000, right? But because of that second BTO thing, instead of being 350,000 cash rich, I'm now left with only like half of that amount. So but of course, then again, I already paid up everything on my second BTO, so not much of an impact. But yeah, this restriction of 50% cash profit go to the second BTO, take note of that. It is quite drastic. Hope that answered the question. Back to Justin.
Okay, thanks to all of our speakers for answering all these questions. Yeah, okay, let's move on. Okay, so it has been quite an eye-opener listening to our three guests tonight. I have certainly learned a lot also myself, and I'll be taking a lot of mental notes for myself and my own buying my first house next time. Yeah. So okay, at this juncture, I would also like to welcome comments on what kind of topics does our audience wish to hear in our next Ask Me Anything series. Your input is valuable to us, as we strongly believe in equipping our clients through education, and so that you can better plan and make informed financial decisions. I think that this one my speakers will agree as well. Yeah. So now, okay, let's have our speakers wrap up by giving us two key takeaways from their own experience buying their first home. Yeah. Ellain, you want to start?
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Your first home is always an important milestone in your life. You agree? Yeah, we always remember our first home, right? Yeah. For those who have bought a home, and with your loved ones, this is a home with your loved ones. So do enjoy every possible moment in this journey and build a warm, loving home. I think that's my takeaway for those first time homeowner. Yeah, do enjoy the moment. Yeah.
Freeman, your key takeaway? Yeah, again, you're muted.
Again,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Last
I
one
have it.
tonight.
I think especially if it's your first home, be extremely conservative on your budgeting. Many expenses can come in unexpectedly, even like your renovation cost initially, it was X dollar, and as you go along, it can mount quite a little bit when you make adjustments. So, and then some of the costs like unplanned child that is maybe you want the child to come out 3 years later, but it come out 1 year later. So be conservative on your first house. It's a lot of expenses. Like for me, we plan back then, even now, we always plan on one person's income. And of course, to all that out there, take advantage of the BTO scheme as much as possible. It's a really good scheme that allows you to buy low, sell high. So for Singaporean, we can participate in twice BTO per lifetime. So take advantage of it if you can. I did anyway. Yeah, Justin.
Okay, Andy, last but not least, your turn. Your key takeaway on buying your first home. Yeah.
Okay, my key takeaway is to buy your first home is actually to plan your budget expenses. So most of the time that before we plan out to buy our first house, if you do not know your budget, everything is possible for you. So also talk to your partners about expectation and how much both of you will contribute, because these are some things that we do not talk about until we try to get a flat. Then you'll find that you might have differences. So it's best to communicate with each other and try to come to a common understanding. Yep. Back to you, Justin.
Okay, thanks to our speakers for your key takeaways. Okay, and now the moment that we've all been waiting for. It's time for our Facebook Live like and share giveaway. So can I get my colleague to help with the lucky spin? Yeah, good luck to those who took part. Yeah. Okay, so let's see who is the first winner of the night. Okay, we have Joyce Han. Yeah. Okay. Congrats. So our next winner of the night. Second winner of the night. Grace Heng. Congratulations. Okay, our last one, our third winner of the night. Okay, we have Ong Chiu Ye. So okay, congrats to all three of our winners for the night. Hold on, I will just check. Thanks, thank you. Okay, so congrats once again to our lucky winners. Please drop us a message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phillip Wealth Advisory, within 24 hours to claim your prize, yeah, to claim your Starbucks, $20 Starbucks gift card. Yeah. Okay, so all right, we have come to the end of the session, and I would just like at this moment I just would like to thank our three remarkable speakers for their sharing, and then definitely a big thank you to everyone who has stayed with us thus far. Do join us for our upcoming Ask Me Anything episode. Yeah, follow our Facebook and stay tuned. So we'll see you, and good night to everyone. Yeah, take care and stay safe.
Good night, everyone. Yeah.
Good night. Thank you.